NBL Canada Championship Finals here at Scotiabank Centre. Game number 2. Vince Williams and Audley Stevenson here for the Halifax Hurricanes and the London Lightning. Game number 2 was a different story from game number 1 with the Halifax Hurricanes. The Hurricanes came out, shot the lights out from beyond the arc, and it wasn't from the usual suspects. Joel Friesen had a huge night from beyond the arc, knocking down 7 of 10.
Well, how good is it for your coach Hugo to have a guy that you don't run any plays for, and he's hitting 7 3-pointers and giving them, again, like you said, that huge shot in the arm. So that was a difference maker. You talk about Shane Gibson, Justin Johnson. The performance they had last night in Game 1 isn't anything that they were proud of or happy with. So you knew they were going to respond in some way.
And Joel Friesen has this to say in his post-game wrap-up.
You know, we needed the win for sure. We gave them 119 today, and I think, that's not how we want to win, but we'll take it. Offense was flowing a little bit better. We gave them 119, but I think our defense. They gave us 119, but I think our defense was a little bit better, our effort, and it ended up being successful for us. And, we got the win, but we know it can be better on the road, and we're going to have to be better on the road. All the little things are that much more important. The effort, all the things you can control, effort, energy. Shots are going to fall, shots aren't going to fall, but we got to stick together. Use what's gotten us this far in Game 3, 4, and 5, and hopefully have some success from there.
At some point, the Hurricanes was a little shaky, oddly, there in the first 24 minutes. The score was 66-63. They talked about defense and hanging their hat with the defensive play, that is, of the Hurricanes.
Go figure.
But the shots that they were knocking down came from a guy that they're familiar with knocking those shots down, and Shane Gibson had an outstanding response tonight in game number 2.
And again, this is what he needed to do. This is what he's expected to do. And he himself, like I said, he was not happy with what they did last night, proud of their performance. So you knew that they had to respond, and the efficiency rate was fantastic. 6 for 10 from 3 points, fantastic. And you look at what he's been able to do, because what it really does is it opens up the floor. You know that London's going to double team. We saw a lot of double teams tonight, far more than we have in the past. And when you double team, there's a price to pay. You're leaving someone open.
And Shane Gibson had this to say in the post-game wrap-up about his performance.
I'm very proud of my team. That's exactly how we should respond. They came into our house and beat us yesterday, and it's just disrespectful. So I'm glad that the way they responded, and we look forward to going on the road. Well, we know that we can beat them. Once they beat us last night, I feel like a little bit of confidence was a little bit shaken, but we still feel like we're the best team at all times. But it kind of brought us down a little bit. But now we're back with this win and back on the winning track, and we feel good. I feel like we have more adjusting to do. They still put up over 100 points. That's not good. We got to keep them 90 or below. But, we made a couple adjustments, and they worked. Also, we hit shots. Yesterday, we weren't hitting shots, so it's basketball, man. Things happen.
Now, the London Lightning came into game number 2 with a 1-0 advantage, looking to get a stranglehold going back for game number 3, 4, and 5 in London. Coach Kyle Julius talked about checking off the boxes. And tonight, it didn't look like all of those boxes were checked off. He had 4. And those boxes really didn't come to fruition.
No, it didn't. And when you look at what Halifax did, there's no way it could have, any of the boxes could have gotten checked off tonight. I think Halifax from the onset, and we talked about this, the importance of establishing a tempo and establishing a tone. Halifax did that in the early going. And that first 24 minutes, although the score was evenly 66-63 that you talked about, it was still, you still kind of felt that it was Halifax was dictating what they wanted to play and how they wanted to play. A lot of up and down, a lot of back and forth, a lot of trading baskets. And it's funny we're talking about trading baskets and being under the umbrella of what Halifax wanted to do, because it wasn't what Coach Hugo was talking about at the beginning of the game. I was in the locker room. He had 115 written up on the board, something that they did not want to see have happen. And look, they go and win the game with scoring that much points and giving up that much.
And Coach Kyle Julius had this to say in the post-game wrap-up about those particular boxes.
None. I can't say we completed any of them. I can honestly say that. We had a couple guys that were frustrated. We want to stay away from that stuff. We want to keep our togetherness, our toughness. So yeah, it was a disappointing performance, but it's a series, right? You can't win the whole thing in one night, And when we game plan, we don't game plan for that, just only that game. We want to see how things happen. Okay, we were going to do some stuff tonight that we didn't want to show, so we kept that. So it's a long series. I thought our guys fought. I thought they shot the ball 60%. Okay, they shot the ball 60% and 50 from three, and we're still in this thing with a couple minutes left. That's a good sign. You know what? We had issues one-on-one. That's really what it was. I think the scheme and stuff like that. Those guys make some bad decisions, and then we treated some of their shooters like they weren't shooters. We gave a bunch of open shots. It was a poor defensive performance for sure. I haven't watched the film yet, but I can think off the top of my head 6 or 7 tough guarded threes where we did play good defense, and they made really tough shots, right? We scored easy too. There's no question. We were just trading. They hit a few more threes than us. They got more free throws than us. But if you want to look at scoring, I think it was just as easy for us.
We touched upon the 115 on the bulletin board that Coach Hugo Lopez had in the pregame talk with his team, with the Hurricanes in their locker room. Yeah. You had a chance to look at that bulletin board. 115, man, they gave up 119. Talk about Coach Lopez and his game plan.
Well, again, when we talked during the broadcast, there's been 2 instances this season where the Halifax Hurricanes gave up 115 points, and those were losses. And one happened to be against the London Lightning. So, that was a number that they wanted to stay away from. They like the number 90. They keep teams in and around there. They feel very confident with being able to come away with a win. Tonight was a totally different story, almost laughable to a certain degree. And, Coach Lopez, we talked to him as well. You're going to have to enjoy what he had to say about that.
And here's what Coach Lopez had to say about his defensive performance from his team.
We try, even though London played very good basketball. They gave us a hard time, especially in the first half. They hit big shots. We're trying to get a lead by 6-8 points, but they came back with big shots. But I think we started off pretty well the third quarter, getting better rhythm on the game, get a rebound and try to run the floor. Even though the game was equal at the end of the third, but a couple of stops in a row gave us like 8-10 points lead that we maintained until the end. It was a really high up-tempo game. Both teams scored big shots. I wasn't happy with the defense that we played in the first half, even though they hit big shots, but we gave away too many easy layups. Is what I told my guys in the locker room. We cannot afford to go to 120 points. We did, we won, but it's not the way that we are going to take care of the business.
So with any game, there was lots of fireworks in a 7-game series, especially in a championship finals between these two teams. After the end of the game, it got a little chippy. Both teams came into the center court, had a few choice words, something that would probably carry over in games 3 and 4 in London.
Well, you wonder how much of this is really an issue, or teams are looking for something to get themselves fired up. 15, you're up by 15. We saw Halifax run 2 alley-oop plays to close out the game. Fans loved it. Bench got excited. London wasn't really cool with that. They thought they were trying to run up the score as a sign of disrespect. And, you can have different opinions on this. But at the end of the day, and I think it was Shane Gibson that said, look, we're trying to win a basketball game here. And this is really what it comes down to.
And we caught up with both teams to get the perspective on the final few moments in game number 2.
If you've played basketball and you're up 15 with less than a shot clock left, you don't go run down the floor and dunk the ball twice. You don't run up the score like that. This is professional basketball. So if you want to play like that and do things like that, don't expect anything less than what you saw at the end of the game. Last time I saw that was in high school. I'm furious about it, and our guys will be livid about it, and we're going to use that for fuel. I'm not happy about that at all.
We're going to play to the final buzzer, whether we're up or down. Alley-oop here, alley-oop there. We just played to the final buzzer. It's just effort. Sure, we want to make a statement going into Game 3 that we're going to be ready, and it's going to be a tough 3 games.
If you're going to leave me open, then we're going to score. I understand that we're up 15 with a certain amount of time left, but we've seen too many things happen. In the beginning of the year, we came back. Justin Johnson hit 3 threes in a row. It was like 30 seconds left, 3 threes in a row, and we win the game. It would just hurt too much to let that happen, so we're not gonna. They're a good team. We would never we would never let up off the gas and then let them come back and beat us, and then how would we look? So we're gonna close out at all times. We're gonna score when we can and do what we can to win the game. I've seen too many teams let up and then the team comes back and beat them. This is the championship. We'll score 150 if we have to.
So you wouldn't say it's running up the score?
No, not at all.
I mean, when they scored, they were pressing. So, I mean, we just broke the press break. We just broke the press, and it was a 2-on-1, and we threw the ball. We couldn't hold the ball off, too. They didn't. I mean, I don't blame them, but, I mean, they shouldn't blame on us either. I mean, it's part of the game. Nobody tells you got to hold the ball. They could hold the ball, too. I mean, just let it go, you know, go to game 3, keep it clean, and just play basketball.
So in closing, game number 2, the Hurricanes even up the series, 1-1, heading back to London for 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
No doubt the London Lightning will have momentum going into their home barn, looking to close this out.
This is going to be a good one. And again, we talk about the fireworks in this game and how we know that something's going to carry over. And I think, you know, again, coaches and teammates are looking for something to get themselves fired up. And maybe if this is what it is, it'll be a great treat for the fans. This was game 7 for the Halifax Hurricanes. And we talked about this. They could not afford to go down 2-0 with 3 games in London's house. They got the split. London totally can't be unhappy because they got the split that they wanted. They were greedy. They wanted to get 2. That didn't work out, but things are still okay for them. Now it's time for Halifax to go and do their job.
And that'll do it here at Scotiabank Centre. Vince Williams, Audley Stevenson here for games 1 and 2 as they have a split. We have a series, folks, and it's heading back to London. The NBL Canada Championship Finals.
That's it, man. See you game 3.